We definitely gonna have to fix this lighting because baby got me over here looking like a gross sister from the Proud Family. Definitely not. Hold on. If you're new here, welcome and hello. If you're not, welcome back. Hey girl, hey. Welcome to my channel. So today is story time Saturdays. Today's video is sponsored by Ft.IrresistibleMe here. And if you like the wig that I have on, which is not in the style that they sent it to me because I washed it before I put it on my head, so it doesn't look the way that it was sent. But this is actually the 12-inch bob, curly bob wig. But they have lots of different options. If you want a vegan hair wig, clip-ins, other different type of hair options, they have that on their site. And I believe now they're doing an annual sale. So if you are interested in any of the products and want to look through the website, I will have it up here on the screen, and you guys can go through that website and see what you like on the website for yourself if you're interested in Irresistible Me hair. Not only that, make sure that you use my discount, which is IM_Celestine, to get 10% off. So you get 10% off with my code on top of that 50% sale that's going on right now on the Irresistible Me hair site. All right, so let me know what y'all think, and I will also put the link in my description for you to go ahead and click on it so you can get to the website easy breezy with no problems. But let's get into this video. Okay, this story time is about how I found my biological parents, and I am going to be discussing how that happened. A lot of you are familiar with some of my story about me growing up in foster care and going through 35 different foster homes. I also am authoring a book. I don't want to say I'm authoring it currently because I'm currently still going through, let's be honest, life struggles right now that need to actually be added into the book, okay? To make it so we gonna have more of a story because we still going through stuff, all right? So like I said, I'm authoring a book, and you'll get my whole life story about things that I've been through, the foster care system, everything, what it was like when I aged out and was homeless, all of that, all of the things, okay? So let's start here. We're gonna go backwards a little bit, and then we gonna progress forward, okay? So I ended up in foster care when I was 3 years old due to a biological family member doing some wrongful things, and my mother did not want to hold that family member accountable for what he had done. So basically she chose her brother over me, and that ultimately landed me and 2 of my siblings in the system. So my brother ended up getting took from the NICU while he was in the NICU and getting shipped off to a foster home, and then me and my sister and our brother eventually got back, like maybe like months later to a year later, into a foster home together where we were together for the longest. Then I ended up, let's start here, getting adopted and split from my 2 siblings, and I went to a home where I was adopted. I was age 8 to 12. This adoptive home, this lady was very abusive to me. She was not nice. I was beat with baseball bats, bicycle chains. I don't know if I can find a picture on Google of what that looked like, but it was like a bicycle combination chain with like the lock on it where you twist the numbers, and it had plastic over it. A Louisville Slugger bat. I was deprived of sleep. And I describe it as the Michael Jackson lean, but forehead touching the wall, feet all the way back, hands behind your back, from like 3:30 when we got out of school to 6 o'clock in the morning, and we had a half an hour to get ready, and we were told you better not fall asleep when you get to school. So this is where curiosity began to start in this home where I was being abused. I then learned my biological mother's name. I didn't know her name, and at the time I was 8 or 9. I stayed there until I was 12. So I was about 8 or 9. I stayed from 8 to 12. And during my stay here in this home from 8 to 12, like, you know, I was not aware of what my mother's name was, never saw her face, never heard her voice, never seen anything about her, no pictures, no anything. And there were children that lived, 4 other children that were there 5 years before me, and they would go to their biological mother's house and come back for like the weekend, 2 weeks, a week. It didn't matter. They just went to their biological family and came back. And when they would leave, I would be the only child in the house out of the 5 of us. It was them 4 and then me, because I didn't know my mom and I didn't know who she was and I didn't know her name. But there were moments and points where the lady, she would read like, I call it a synopsis. Like, basically the paperwork talks about like what happened from the time I was born up until the time of the current home that I was in, what landed me there, what my mother's name was, what my father's name was, what the guy that my mother was messing with name was. And at the time, this is how I found out who my mother was. I found out her name because I don't give a damn. I'm gonna say her name. She called herself Sheena. Kill me if you want to. If you find my YouTube and find out that I'm blasting your name, you could send your daughter to kill me. I don't give a damn. Try it if you want to. She calls herself Sheena Dowdell or Sheena Saunders. Her daughter Malika, she's known as Miss Pretty on TikTok, and I'm blasting it all, okay? Because y'all didn't do me, y'all did me dirty when y'all had me in foster care. So like, I don't care if people look y'all up and harass y'all. I don't give a fuck. I might block it out depending on how I feel when I start editing. I'm childish. Let me get it together. Okay. Sheena, Dolores, whatever you want to call her, used to read like papers about like what was going on with me. Like, I'm talking about, I would hear her saying, the man that my mother messed with that she had 2 kids after I was born, their father, I would hear her saying their father's name, and that was who my father was, which I found out later was not true. I have a different father from them. Once I ended up hearing my biological mother's voice for the first time, she told me who my father was, and she said, no, that's not your dad. And all my life, I thought that was my dad, because that's what was on paperwork that was following me around to every foster home. So like, okay, the lady, she would literally sit there and read, oh, blase, this happened in the hospital. Celestine was rushed here to the hospital because this and this and this happened while in the care of her biological mother. Celestine then moved to this foster home and stayed here this amount of months, and da-da-da-da-da. Her biological mother's name is blase. I'm gonna say her name, but you know, not too much. My biological mother's name is Lori, and if you can really see anything, I actually have her name tattooed on my arm, which came from when like my daughter was like 6 months. My youngest daughter was like 6 months old, and I went and got her name tattooed on me because she had passed away while I was pregnant with my youngest daughter. And so I went and got her name tatted or whatever. And so I learned her name was Lori while I was staying in this abusive adoptive home. And I would hear her read and pretend to be asleep, and her daughter Malika would sit up and read, and I'm not asleep, I can hear. So I'm listening. I'm like, oh wow, blase, my mom's name is this, my dad's name is this, and I'm ears open. Why? Because I always wanted to know who my mother was, because I went around not knowing her name. So then I learned her name, and for years I didn't know what to do with the information. I just always knew and remembered in my mind, my mom's name is Lori, my mom's name is Lori, my mom's name is Lori. Anytime I thought about her, I wonder what I know her last name is the same as mine. I just try to look her up, wouldn't find her. Fast forward years later, when I was 16, because I moved from her house when I was 12. I ended up turning 16. We're gonna skip a little bit just to make the story short. I turned 16 and I was living with another foster mom whose name I won't say because I love her. And I was doing stuff I had no business. Like, I would see her son go into her room with a butter knife and get into her room go in there to get soda, Pepsi, whatever it was that he wanted, because it was just like a regular lock, and she would use like a key to get in and out of her room because she didn't want people in her room. And then I learned how to do that, seeing him do it. So one day I went in her room because I knew my birth certificate was in there, and I got into her file cabinet and I searched. I found my birth certificate, my original birth certificate. I don't know if ever again in life I'll see that, because now I'm adopted, and y'all know birth certificates look different now. Like, they're the standard blue with the little blue ridges around the decoration. Now they look a lot different than what they used to look back in the day. My birth certificate used to have like block sections where it said my mother's address, her name, and it even had her signature signed on the birth certificate. And I said, you know, this is when I became Detective Snoopadoop. I've been that way ever since. Don't cheat on me, because I'm gonna find out all your information. I became Detective Snoopadoop at age 16. I started running my brain once I laid my eyes on my mom's biological signature. I'm looking and I'm like, this is my mother's actual handwriting. Damn, I wonder if she alive. I've never seen her. I got taken from when I was 3, and now I'm 16. I wonder what she looked like. I learned her name when I was like 8 or 9, and I see that this is her name. So there was an address in Cleveland that was listed on the birth certificate, and I decided to go downstairs and ask my foster mom. I said, Mom, can I find my biological mom? She said, yeah, if you can find her. I said, I know how to find her. She said, you do? And I said, yeah. She said, what you gonna do? I said, I got my birth certificate. And she was like, you do? And I was like, yeah, I saw it. And she was like, well, how you gonna do that? I said, it's an address on there. She said, what if they don't live at that address? I said, I don't know, I'm just gonna write. When I tell you I wrote to the address that was on my birth certificate, and I got a letter back from my 2 youngest siblings that were born after me. We're stair steps. So like, I'm 37, my sister's 36, and he's 35. So we're stair steps. We're real close in age. So my 36 and 35-year-old brother and sister, who are right underneath me, their dad wrote me back. And he sent me this letter. I'm so mad because I lost it. Because I lost it when I ended up homeless when I was 18 and aged out of the system. And they wouldn't let me get my stuff, because I could have showed it on the screen. But he wrote me this letter talking about how my mom would be writing me in a couple of days. And she actually wrote me in a couple of days, y'all. And I was so excited, y'all. She sent me, she used to send me calling cards in every letter. Every letter she would send me calling cards, and I wish like hell I still had those letters. And for some reason I would throw the calling cards away when she would send me calling cards, because my foster mom had a house phone, but she didn't pay for long distance. So she was like, you ain't got no long distance? I was like, no. She was like, I'm gonna send you calling cards. So my biological mom used to send me calling cards in every letter. Every time she would get money or get her check, she would send me like a $5 calling card, and I would call her and talk to her all the time. And that's what she would do, was send calling cards. Like, and then she would kiss the back of the envelope with her lips. So every letter I had like her lipstick, and my mom had a big lips. So like, it was just, she had these big, she always wore black lipstick, big black lipstick kiss print on the back of the envelope. So I was so scared but excited to call her. So I dialed the number that she left on the paper, and oh my goodness, like I sound like her when I'm excited and giddy. Like, she was like, hey, when I told her my name, she was like, oh my goodness, my baby, and she was screaming when I was talking to her. And I asked her like all the questions I needed to know. I was like, you know, do me and my siblings have the same father? So is the guy Big Jesse, is that my dad too? And she was like, no, that's not your dad. You got your own dad. Your dad's name is Blase, and he passed away. He got shot, which is not the story that's true. We're gonna get to that because it's gonna be part 1 and part 2. she was like, he got shot and killed, and he was he played in a band, and his name is this and this, and he's from Chicago, he's not from here. And I was like, oh, well, okay. So she was like, yeah, the man that I was with is your other two siblings' father. And she was like, you got your own dad. I don't, y'all don't share that. And we talked from then on out. I was getting letters. I was getting calling cards from her. Every time she sent the letter, she would kiss the back of the envelopes, and I loved it. Now we're gonna get into how I found my biological father. Okay, this is my biological father. And I'm gonna tell y'all, when she told me his name, I did the same thing I did with her. I remembered his name. I'm gonna just say my dad's name. My dad's name is Alfonso. They're no longer here. So, like, you know, I used to be like, okay, my dad's name is Alfonso. And she was like, yo, his name is Alfonso Blase Blase. And I was like, okay. And I remembered, I was like, is he alive? And she was like, nah, he gone. And I was like, oh yeah, you did say that. And she was like, yeah, he's gone. And I was like, wow. I was like, what was he like? I started asking questions. Oh, he was a sweetheart. Anytime when he found out I was pregnant with you, he was excited. I wanted to know, like, about the relationship with her and my dad. And my mom was like 20 when she had me. So if she was alive, she'd have been like, her second digits always match my digits. She'd have been 50. She'd have been 57 if she was alive. She'd been 57 years old. And so, if she was still living. And so, like, she was like, I had you when I was 20. I lived with your dad. He had an apartment, and it was set up. He had it set up where he put it together because it was like an efficiency or something like that. She said he played guitar. Your dad used to take me to this hole in the wall joint. Your dad was a jitney. And he used to ride people around from Cleveland Hopkins Airport back to their houses and stuff with their bags, and he used to charge them to do that, and that was like how he hustled. She was like, your dad was a local jitney, and he used to do that, and he used to take me out to eat. And when he found out I was pregnant, he was excited. Like, she told me, she said, when I was pregnant with you, my favorite craving was like kibasi, and your dad made sure I had kibasi anytime I wanted it. When I wanted kibasi sausage or a kibasi sandwich, he would make it for me. She said your dad used to do something called poached eggs. To this day, I still don't even know what poached eggs is. And so that was what my mother told me. So then fast forward, she passes in 2008. My biological family on my mom's side they don't give a damn about nobody, okay? That's the best way I could put it bluntly. And I was like, ain't no love coming from my mom's side of the family. Let me go ahead and search for my father's side of the family. You know what I'm saying? So I went on ahead, and when I was fast forward, at that time I was 16. Now we're fast forwarding to the age of 22. I turned 22 years old, right? For some reason I was bored one day, and there was this phone number, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen because it probably still exists, and because anybody can call it. It was 1-800-FREE-411, and I know it was 1-800 something 374444, something to that extent. I dialed that number, and let me tell you, I was like, I wonder if I can find my dad's side of the family. I really want to, know who my dad is and know if I got siblings on that side of the family. I got curious. That's why I'm coming out with a playlist on my channel called Killing Curiosity, where I travel to places that I've never been before, and I go do things. And one of those things that I'm going to do to kill my curiosity is go visit my dad's grave in Chicago with my little sister who's on his side, and we're going to do that together because she also wants to do that too. We're just alike in that we're curious and want to know, what does it look like where he's buried at? Like, can we go there? So we're going to do that. And it will be vlogged. I just don't know when to do it, and I don't mess with graveyards, and I don't want to do it by myself. So fast forward back to what I was talking about. I was like curious, and I was like, damn, what if I got siblings that I don't know about? What if some of them live here in Cleveland? And so I called that 1-800-FREE-411 number, and it says, say the first and last name of the person you are searching for. So when it said that, I said his first and last name. Now, he didn't come up in the directory, but I knew that if I said, even though he's passed away, if I said his first and last name, somebody, no, I think I said his last name. I said somebody got to be related to him that got the same last name. Child, the first person I reached was his sister, who passed away now. She's been gone for quite a few years now, like maybe 5 years, I'll say. And it was her. And she was like, how you doing? I was like, hi. I was nervous because I didn't know what to say, but I rambled off what I needed to say, and it came off natural, and I was able to find him. I said, hey, my name is Celestine. I'm calling because I want to know if you know who Alfonso Luttrell is. And she was like, yeah, honey, that's my brother. He passed away. And I was like, how did he pass away? And she was like, I'm not going to really answer questions about my brother because he's gone. But she was like, if you're his daughter, what do you know about him? I said, I only know what my mom told me. She said, that's fine. Can you tell me what you know? I said, she told me that he had salt and pepper speckled hair, that he was like a chubby man, and he was short with a belly. I said, she told me that he played in a band. And she was like, no, he didn't play in a band. He played guitar. And then I was like, she also said that he was a jitney. And I said, she also told me, another detail she told me, she was like, he don't smoke, he don't drink, but he does smoke. And she was like, that's true. So all the information that I had gave her, she was like, that's true. She was like, yeah, you gotta be my brother's daughter. So then she was like, can you do me a favor? I'm gonna give you a number, and I want you to send a picture of yourself to this number. And I was like, okay. And so I did. And when I did that, she called me back immediately, and she was like, you're definitely his child. You look just like him, and you look just like his oldest son, Antonio, and you look just like his daughter, Zeph. And I was like, what? And she was like, you're definitely his. You look exactly like him. Oh, we know when something is ours. And she was like, I can't wait to meet you. She said, can I have your address? Can I send you pictures of your father? And I was like, yeah. So she sent me pictures of my father. When she sent me pictures of my father, I was amazed at how much he looked like me. Like, if y'all not familiar with me talking about my father and how I said he came to me in a dream, y'all need to go check that video out. But I never got the chance to meet him. I know that I was told by my mom that when I was little, he was always, when I was born, he tried to be in the operating room when I was born, but my other two siblings' dad was trying to take over and wanted to go see me be born because that was his woman, and didn't want my dad in the room to watch me be born, which I feel like you stepped on my damn dad's toes, and I can't get mad about it now because you're passed away too. So, but I was angry that you did not let my dad take me to Chicago when he asked could I go. I don't care that you didn't let Lori go to Chicago, but you could have let him take me, and I probably would have had a way better life. I probably wouldn't be going through half of the stuff that I'm going through or been through. You know what I'm saying? I would feel like I was really part of family. So you know, I can't be too angry about it anymore. But yeah, that is how I found my father. And so then as soon as she sent me the obituary and some photos, I mean, I had a photo that was like a poster photo that I never could find after it was lost in my apartment, and it was like a stand-up photo of him with a guitar, and it said that he was on tour with the Shy Lights, the Delphonics, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Emotions, like different groups that he played with. And like they used to tell me, they was like, you know, he played with Earth, Wind and Fire, the Delphonics, he played backup for them. He wrote a song that's on the Emotions, I think they used to always talk about it when I would go down and visit. I think the song is called Rejoice by the Emotions. They say he wrote that song and he didn't get credit for it, but they said my dad was like a bomb bass guitar player. So yeah, he almost got his big break and then he passed away. I can definitely show you guys like different messages that I got from different family members letting me know about my father. I thought that was sweet when they did that. After getting to know my father's side of the family, I began shortly visiting. But before I even visited, I had a dream about him, and that dream is the video that I'm asking you guys to check out. And I feel like that dream was connected because it was like a plug, an outlet that needed a plug, and that plug was me talking to his family, and it connected. And then that was his spirit trying to come to me because he didn't get his chance that he had when he was on earth. And I actually told a story time about that, and I thought it was kind of freakish when I had the dream. But yeah, that's how that happened. And then weeks later, I started getting calls from unknown numbers. I had got one call, and it was like, hey, I'm your brother on your dad's side, my name is Mark. Hey, I'm your brother on your dad's side, my name is Tony. Hey, I'm your sister Zeph, and I'm your sister on your dad's side. Like, when I tell you, me and Zephyr look like twins. We look like twins. If I can find a picture, I'm gonna put it up. The first time we met, she was like, oh my God, you look just like me. Now we be talking every now and then. We do like a Facebook call and everything. And yeah, so I'm connected with my siblings. Now it's weird because I was only supposed to connect to my siblings. I was not supposed to connect with other family members. I just wanted to get in touch with my siblings and maybe like one person from the family, which was supposed to be his sister, but now his sister has passed away. I didn't get to spend time with her at all, barely, when I did find a family. But yeah, that's my story about finding my biological mom and dad. And if you enjoyed this story time, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and slip down in the comments and let me know what you thought about this story or what you thought was cool about it. And I will see you guys on the next one. And if you made it to the end, do me a favor, put a magnifying glass for searching in the comments. Let me